on the Patreonis.
Yeah. Did you pulled your screen down? So you're no, you're recording it from OBS. Never mind.
Yeah, you still are like hella big though.
I'm like super far away though.
I know. It just I had to zoom in because the Skype call is like so whack. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I see it. You want me to go on Facebook on my phone? I'm like super far away though.
Yo, why is my Facebook being so stupid?
How the fuck do I turn the sound off on this? Oh yeah, I see it. You want me to go on Facebook on my phone? I like that.
We will be joining you guys live in just 1 second. 1 second. We'll be going live here in a minute. We've got to get people in here and get G-Rod back, and then we'll get going. It's early here. All right, G-Rod is back.
I'm frozen.
That's because I had to open up OBS real quick. That's why.
Oh.
So now you shouldn't be frozen because now I'll minimize it. G-Rod, you're going to be hella close because, I don't know, because this thing. So if you want to back up a little bit. This is taking forever to go. Alright, can anyone see comments or anything?
Yeah, Scott is in here.
I don't have Facebook anymore, so I can't see it.
Okay. How many people are in?
Dave just got in, so I guess 3 people.
Alright, cool.
Counting me.
Please share this on Twitter before we get rolling. I'm gonna freeze us off for a second, but that's fine. I'm just gonna get on my phone so we can look. I can read comments, and then we'll be getting this going.
I got my comments up if you want me to do it.
Cool. Please share on Twitter, guys. Let's get some people in here. I know everyone probably just went to bed because, you know, it's early as shit. But that's what we're doing here. All right. Can you send out a tweet real quick, Phil, from our account saying we're live? Link it, and then we'll go.
Okay.
Alright, exit OBS so you guys stop freezing. We're still awake. We're live, pal. Dallas is awake. We kept him awake the whole goddamn time, that's for sure.
Right.
Alright, you guys ready to roll?
Yes, sir. I'm sending out the tweet now.
Top of the morning to you. It is 7:10 Eastern Time. And we just got finished watching Wrestle Kingdom. I see Paul is in the chat. Paul just came in the chat. And let me just tell you, Paul is the reason that I watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. So shout out to Paul. But we are live after one of the best events of the year, every year, and that is Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestle Kingdom 13 was amazing. We just saw an amazing title bout, and we saw every single title change hands tonight. There was no funky business. There was nothing weird. Everyone won straight up. Chris Jericho's still doing amazing things at the age of 48 years old. We're going to get into it all. But first, let's talk to Phil. This is Phil's first experience, and he did what every rookie does. He got gassed up way too early and fell asleep during the main event. I've been there. It's happened.
Yep.
How was the show, though?
It was a great show. I did love it. Of course, the one match that I was looking and dying to see the most was the main event, and I missed it. So here's the thing, right? I felt it was like entrances. They were circling the ring. I fell asleep. I woke up I saw a little bit of the stuff on the outside where like Kenny held the guy's hands up, the announcer, and then fell asleep again, and then saw the end. I was like, all right.
Well,
Like, so I know they were like, this is the longest title match in Wrestle Kingdom history, and I was like, for me, it was like a minute.
yeah. I mean, I thought it was a great show. G-Rod, what did you think about Wrestle Kingdom 13 before we start breaking down the matches?
Well, I mean, what can I say? I mean, I don't get up this early for wrestling at all, and this is the only time I do it. Well, not the only time, but in Japan, I have to. But it's always a great card. It's always a great show. There's some reason this show had a little bit more hype to it, a little bit more. I don't know. There was something about it that was different from the rest. It kind of reminded me of my first time watching Wrestle Kingdom 9, and how hyped I was to check it out because it's something new, and it delivered. I had so much fun. And yeah, that main event.
I just want to shout out before we go down the card. The Patreon chat literally saves my life this year because there was times where my eyes were heavy, my knees weak, arms were heavy. There's vomit on the sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. There's the mom's spaghetti line of the day. No, but I was getting really tired, especially after I ate donuts. I don't know what it is with me eating donuts and cupcakes and then getting really tired, but for some reason, I had a couple donuts. I felt really exhausted. The Patreon chat kept me pushing through. Everybody was having such a good time. We were having fun. Dave was getting the feed 3 minutes earlier before everyone. So
Yeah.
he was kind of commentating.
Yeah. Spoiler
for us.
Dave.
Yeah.
But he's like, Okada's coming out. We're like,
wait, what?
Okada's coming out. They're still doing the promo package.
Yeah, Jay White just stepped on stage. So let's get into it. G-Rod has the match card. We're gonna go down the match card. We're not gonna spend a lot of time on the early stuff because I really want to talk about the later stuff and what it means for Kenny Omega going forward, what it means for All Elite Wrestling going forward, or what it means for WWE going forward. G-Rod, start with the first match.
Okay, so we had the pre-show, never open weight 6-man championship #1 contender gauntlet show, our pre-show match.
I slept during this one. This is the match I chose to sleep during because I got up at 2:30.
Yeah, so this was actually really fun. They usually do the Rumble. They have like a battle royal.
I would have woke up for the Rumble because I would have saw fucking Kip Sop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Kip Sop. Always Kip Sop. But this was fun. Hangman, Takahashi, and Marty were the first to be eliminated.
See, I was wondering why Marty wasn't on the card, and then that just answered my question.
Yep. By Team Nagata. That was Yuji Nagata, Jeff Cobb, and Dave Finlay. The highlight of the match for me is anytime Jeff Cobb and Hiroki Goto got into it, because now I want to see that match. I feel like that match would be amazing. But it was a fun gauntlet match. Makabe, Yano, and Taguchi, which is a crazy trio. That's 3 different people, 3 different kind of wrestlers, 2 comedy acts, and 1 really serious wrestler. They won. They're the #1 contenders.
Awesome. And then I woke up at 12:30 and the stream wasn't working. Shout out to New Japan for fixing the stream before 3 o'clock because I was about to flip out. I was
it was like 2:50
what account
when I was
are you using? How the fuck are you on? Yeah. My thing's not working. He's like, is Phil on your account? I was like, Phil's not even awake yet, bro.
Yeah. I woke up at 2:45 and then I went to get on and I saw that everybody in the Patreon was having struggles with it. But luckily I got on right as Ospreay and Kota started.
They straightened that out. And let's get into that because that match, to me, that was the top 3. It was in my top 3 of the night. Kota Ibushi. And if this is real, if this is like shoot prayers to him because that was scary, scary shit at the end of that match because he took a club to the back of the head. Him and Ospreay tore the house down. Will Ospreay is someone that I kind of got onto after everyone criticized his match with Ricochet because it was very staged and it was very spot fest. What I saw from Will Ospreay over these past 2 Wrestle Kingdoms, especially this one, is that he can hit a different stride. He can hit hard. He's not just flips. He does have psychology. He does have storytelling. Yes, he's the most athletic guy you'll ever see in your life, but guess what? When he wants to bring it, he can bring it. And Ibushi felt him bring it tonight. I thought that was an excellent match. Kota Ibushi is still the smoothest wrestler I've ever seen in the ring. Phil, let's get your thoughts on that before we kick it to G-Rod.
It was an incredible match. I think it was the perfect way to start off this long card, especially for someone like me who is their first time, right? Again, I'm super early to watch wrestling, but
first time, long time.
Yeah, first time, long time. It was awesome to see. Ospreay is incredible. I know on Jericho's podcast this week, Jericho was talking about maybe Ospreay being eventually the person who would take the Kenny Omega, AJ Styles, Finn Balor throne, not joining Bullet Club or whatever, but being like the super popular like foreigner, right? I know at the end of the night, Jay White seems more like that right now, but it is what it is. So I think the match was incredible. This was everything that a lot of people have been looking forward to. It did not disappoint. It was actually better than I thought it was going to be. So that's cool. There were so many great spots, and Kota is a madman. He's just crazy. The stuff that they do to each other and Ospreay attempts is just like, how are you even walking after that?
That's exactly what I thought was like, well, how are these guys even and they were laying into each other. Like, I knew someone was going to get hurt watching that match. I was like, someone's going to get their lights put out. And unfortunately, it seems like it was Ibushi because they were fucking unloading on each other.
Yeah.
And I'm it's like 3 a.m. and these guys are going full steam ahead. And I'm over here thinking if I have Hot Pockets or not to try to stay awake. And these dudes, they're beating each other up before breakfast time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
G-Rod, what did you think?
Thought it was a hell of a match. Bushi never disappoints. Ospreay, I kind of got in Ospreay almost at the same time with the whole Ricochet match. And I was really happy that he got brought in and got put with Chaos. I really like the idea that this thing at the end, the stiff shot to the back of the head, it kind of looked like he hit him from one angle, looked like he hit him right in like the bottom part of his neck. It didn't look as bad. But I feel like it was a good story point to take Kota out of the corner of Kenny.
Because I think something's going to happen tomorrow night. Yep, I do. I do.
5:30 in the morning, I think, is the show. So that'd be just
5:30 in the morning. I won't be up because I'm going to a wedding tonight. And I only had 2 hours of sleep. And now I have to go to a wedding all night. And then I have to drive home.
You'll be all right.
I'll probably be up at 5:30 a.m. So when I was watching that match, I was really thinking it kind of reminded me of last year's. Was it a Fatal 4-Way with Ospreay and Skrull and them?
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of reminded me of that because I'm like, how does this, who follows this? How can you set a tone after seeing this opening match? They managed to do it, but my God, what a match! Let's get into the second match because I want to spend more time on the lower half of the card.
Okay, so the next one was the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championship. Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado versus Roppongi 3K versus Bushi and Shingo Takagi, who I love that guy. He's so good.
Shingo is my boy. Shingo is my boy. So I didn't realize, I forgot about Shingo. Brother Daryl, our business associate, came over after All In, and we were just sitting there bullshitting, and I was like, yo, I've been rocking with Gargano since WrestleMania 29. That's when I first saw Johnny, and I saw the Bucks, and it was at a Dragon Gate show, and I'll never forget the guy he fought. I don't know his name, right? So then we look it up, and it's Shingo, right? The next day, he debuts for Los, and I'm like, holy shit!
Nice.
Me and Rob were like, Brother Daryl, we're popping big time. I just totally blew his kayfabe there, but we were blowing, we were popping big time for that. Because we were just talking about it. And then he proved tonight how dominant he can be. And I don't think he'll be in a tag team very long. I think they're going to start pushing this guy as a singles monster in that division. Because he will wreck house. We saw what he did. Bushi didn't even get in the ring, basically. I didn't even remember Bushi was in the match. It felt like it was 2 versus 2 versus 1. And my boy was just taking them all on. Very fun match. Rocky Romero is always entertaining. He likes ham.
Yeah, he likes ham.
But I mean, honestly, that was a fun match. I think that was just to spotlight one competitor, and it did that. So I think it did its job. Phil, what do you think?
everything you said, 100% agree. It was also the start of this huge night for Los. As somebody who doesn't understand, like who's new to this still when it comes to everything else that isn't Bullet Club, it was cool to to see that Los has such a strong stand on New Japan because they won all their matches tonight.
Oh yeah. I think that this is going to be the new dominant faction with the Bullet Club kind of falling apart. I think they're building Los to be that stable to carry the titles. They're just missing one, right? They're missing the
Time bomb.
Yep, they're missing one, and Tanahashi is just won the heavyweight. So who could they have go for him? I mean, you just won the tag titles, but God, can Sonata get a singles push?
He will.
Sonata's really
in
good.
time.
Like,
in
please,
time.
that guy is fucking amazing. But G-Rod, what did you think of the match?
It was a fun match. I mean, everything you said. Shingo. I was looking up him before, or like when he debuted, and I believe he was in. Someone in the chat help me out here. I think All Japan.
Yeah, he was in one of those promotions. Yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, or he was in Dragon Gate or something like that.
He was in Dragon Gate. I saw him at Dragon Gate WrestleMania 29 weekend, and that's when I got introduced to indie wrestling, and I kind of started knowing that there was life outside WWE because I saw Shingo and Johnny Gargano put on the best match of the weekend.
Yeah, and I think Shingo was in that match when Pac came back. So Pac came back, Shingo leaves, goes to New Japan, debuts. So I'm just really happy that he's getting over with people. It was a fun match. I mean, there's not really much you could say.
It had to do. It did its job of bridging the gap, showcasing one athlete. You want to showcase one superstar. They're putting the eggs in the Los basket. Obviously, Shingo's going to be one of those guys that leads Los to like championships, as well as Naito and Evil and Sonata. They pushed him up. Now he's going to shine. So until Time Bomb gets back,
Hopefully soon.
I hope when he.
I think we'll see him. I think we'll see him at Dash.
I think he comes back tomorrow night, but I don't think he wrestles because I think he's probably about a year away from even contact at this point because he just got out of the hospital last month.
Something like that. Yeah, he'll just come back to say hi like Shibata did.
Yeah. Next match on the card.
The Rev Pro British Heavyweight Championship. Tomohiro Ishii to Stone Pitbull versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Your favorite, Phil.
Oh boy!
Listen, there's one thing I do like about Zack Sabre Jr. is his originality with transitions. I think that's lost is that people aren't creative in transitions. You see a lot of the same transitions throughout wrestling, whether it's Ring of Honor, New Japan, or WWE. It's the same kind of reversals. Not with Zack Sabre Jr. He finds innovative ways to turn the tables on people. I love that he was working body parts on Ishii because that's how you have to tear down a guy like that, tear down a monster. They told a great story. I'm not the biggest ZSJ fan. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I don't. He's technical. He's good. I'll never say he's not good. He's just not for me. Ishii is more my style. I was sad to see Ishii lose because that dude's a monster. But
he is.
They did a good job. It wasn't something that you're going to remember from this Wrestle Kingdom card, but it was definitely a match that, it was, I don't want to call it a bathroom break match, but for some it was a bathroom break match, but it was 10 times better than a bathroom break match should have been. Like, it was like, go get your food, go, but you still wanted to get back to see what happened because the ending of that match was amazing. The sequence at the end,
I like the finish.
Before he got him in that
submission he put him in.
So I think that really told a story. G-Rod, what did you think about the Ishii?
The Ishii, the Stone Pitbull.
Ishii, yes.
The Stone Pitbull, the Ishii Stone Pitbull.
I just wish one day he gets like a nice little run with something. He's been there for so long. But he's kind of like the gatekeeper. He kind of is that man that they put to kind of get people over, and he does such a great job because he's so good. Seeing him in Long Beach was great, but I like the match. I can't say that I'm the biggest Zack Sabre Jr. fan, but I admire his technical prowess.
Yes,
I really want to see that.
There's a fucking word. I found that at 7:25 a.m.
I really want to see the match that I think Dave said in the chat, the Sabre Jr. and what's his name, Grisham.
Gresham,
yeah.
The one from Final Battle.
Yeah. I want to see that. But yeah, I liked the match. I thought the ending was great. I love his finish, and I also want Taka to be my hype man forever.
Yeah. I was like, I know that guy.
Brother Daryl had to send him a picture to remind him who.
Yeah, choppy choppy.
Yep.
Choppy choppy pee pee.
But yeah, I mean that match did what it needed to do. No time spent on that. Go ahead.
All right. So the next is the IWGP Tag Team Championship, featuring the champions Gorillas of Destiny versus Evil and Sonata of Los Ingobernables de Japón versus the Young Bucks.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
It was really good match.
This is, and when I was watching this, I can't help to think, this is when they started mentioning All Elite Wrestling a lot, obviously. But for them to drop that many AEW references, I have to think that there's going to be some kind of crossover with these guys. I know that there's rumors of a sit-down meeting this week between Ring of Honor, New Japan, and AEW. There's also rumors of a sit-down with Kenny Omega and WWE. Who knows what's true? Who knows what's not? But what I can tell you from a standpoint is they mentioned it enough that I think they're going to try to have a professional relationship with each other. Let's talk about the thing that Phil wants to talk about. The Gorillas Destiny entrance. Phil, get into it. You're the nerd here. Talk about it.
Hype. Tama came out dressed like Red Hood from Batman. And I'm pretty sure, what's his brother's name?
Lua.
Tonga Lua. Why can't they fucking have some type of
just
little
think
bit
of this, ready? Tonga Lua.
Yeah, exactly.
I kinda...
So, I think his brother was supposed to be Venom, like Agent Venom.
Yeah.
And from the comics, it's a different variation. He wears a suit. It's not Eddie Brock. It's actually Flash Thompson.
I had a proud moment because I knew that it was Red Hood, and I was like, man, Phil would be so fucking happy.
I'm so proud of you. But yeah, I popped for that, and you know, God is awesome. I love seeing these guys work.
I want his swag. I want Tamatonga's swag for Christmas.
Yeah, he just embodies it so much. It's so crazy, and it was cool if that really was.
He did the Vince walk.
If that really was the Bucks' last match in Japan for a while. Yeah. It's pretty cool that it was in that type of atmosphere, and I was honestly really shocked that, you know, Los won that match, because I thought maybe, you know, Gorillas of Destiny retained, because I know a lot of people were complaining that last year there was like too many title changes.
They don't care.
I mean, this year every title changed, but I thought maybe this would be the one where it didn't.
What I also want to mention is the one thing about the Young Bucks that I saw, and I think this is going to be very telling of the promotion they run. I love their tag team moves. Every time I watch them, they do something different and innovative as a tag team, where they're using each other to, you know, damage the opponent, like old tag team wrestling were. You know, they don't cut off the ring, they don't do that kind of stuff, but they do a lot of double team moves, which I think is so cool, because I think that's a lost art in tag team wrestling. So from that standpoint, I think the Young Bucks killed it. From the LIJ standpoint, again, it's like, what did you do? You showcased Sonata. Sonata is the next big star in that company.
I like him a lot.
G-Rod has been flying this flag for about a year now, is that Sonata is the next big thing for Los and for New Japan, because he looks like a star, he acts like a star, and he moves like a star. So what did you think when you dissected the LIJ tag team, G-Rod, and how do you think, you know, winning that title catapults them even further? Because I know they've been tag champions before.
It just makes that group bigger, better. Yeah, I've been flying the Sonata flag. I watched him in TNA. He was, you know, trained by Kenji Muda, or Muto, whatever you want to call him, the Great Muda, Kenji Muto. He's got like 30 names, but he's just, there's something about him. You know, there's people you watch and they're good, you know, they're great, you know, they're really good, but then you look at him and you're like, there's something about that guy. And Evil's great too.
The it factor.
Yeah.
Man, Evil's
he definitely stands out to me.
I wanted to see Evil's mask, but his damn hood kept fucking falling down.
His hood is always too big.
Yeah.
I thought it was so funny because, like, he's this, you know, for me, this is like the first time I've really sat and actually watched it without kind of skipping stuff to kind of just get to the match. So seeing his entrance, and it's like, whoa, this guy is like super evil, and he's like super dark, but he's like, oh, my hood, like, it's like fashion, like, oh, I can't get this the way I want for the pictures, and he was all like, it was so funny.
Yeah, he almost dropped the like the Grim Reaper thing because he was trying to fit. I was like, "Yo, just fuck the hood, bro. Fuck it, dude. Just
I think he couldn't see. It was like down to here on him, so it was like walking blind.
You know what it reminded me of? The Little Giants when the kid puts the pads on. He's like, "I can't see with this thing on."
Yep.
Like, that's exactly what I was thinking when I saw that.
I also want to give a shout out to Tama's stun gun that he did. It was just
my
awesome.
God. Stun gun out of nowhere.
Yeah, dude, I love that. Like, I know it's just basically a cutter or an RKO or whatever, but like, it always just explosive. It's just an explosive move that literally can come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that as well. Great match. LIJ picks up the victory. And new, that's the theme. It's not even called Wrestle Kingdom 13. It's called Wrestle Kingdom #and new because nothing was defended. Next match on the card.
This is for the United States Championship. Cody, the American Nightmare, versus Juice Robinson.
Yep, Cody and Brandy came out in Jaguar colored gear.
Yep. And we'll talk about that in a second. But one thing Juice is so over in Japan.
Yeah, he is.
The thing, and if this is your first time watching Wrestle Kingdom, yes, that is CJ Parker.
Yep.
And yes, he is that damn good in NXT. One of the few talents NXT didn't showcase. I think NXT does a great job showcasing talent. I think that's when they kind of let slip. They didn't know what they had, or maybe he found himself after. I don't know what the story is behind it, but I know that this guy carries himself very well. He's going to be a big player in New Japan if he decides to stay there. Who knows who's going where with the shakeup and everything. But Cody Rhodes, you brought up Jaguars colors. Why is that important? He had the Jaguar print. He had the green and black. He had his logo looked like the Jaguars logo. It's because All Elite Wrestling is backed by the Khan family, who owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. Basically, even though it was reported, it was never confirmed. I think his gear confirmed it tonight that the Jacksonville Jaguars owners are backing All Elite Wrestling, and that was their way of telling people.
And you know what the greatest thing about the Khan, well, Tony Khan, the son of the owner of the Jags, he's a longtime wrestling fan. He used to write into Meltzer's Observer to give house show reports and talk about and like call in and on the message board. So this dude is one of us, and that makes me so happy.
The Khan family paid for the gear.
Yes,
probably
free advertisement.
No, I think I thought the match was good. Cody and Juice have been at this before. I always think they're decent. I always leave wanting a little bit more. It is one of the matches with whenever you have Cody in New Japan playing the heel with Brandy, there's always a lot of fuckery in it. She had to get thrown out. You know what I mean?
You got to see his spear though. Her spear is always good.
I said, ooh,
and it's great storytelling. Yeah, it was. I love watching Cody wrestle, especially on a card like this because it's a break from you getting all these great wrestling matches, right? Crazy high flyers, crazy spots.
Yeah.
You had the super technical match with Zack Sabre Jr. earlier. So Cody Rhodes is going to give you that like traditional old school pro wrestling story, and I think that was great. So it was cool to have that like right in the middle of the card.
I agree with that. I mean, his storytelling and his pacing and everything is so perfect, and you know, all of us criticize him for being a very WWE guy, but it's nice for that change of pace in Japan because it fits in, because he doesn't do it exactly WWE's way, but he does the pacing much like a Monday Night Raw match or a pay-per-view match where it's like it's not hard hitting it builds and it builds and it builds, and then you get to the point where it climaxes and then it ends it. But I was underwhelmed with the match, and Dallas said it in the chat as well. Cody's his favorite wrestler on earth. He was underwhelmed. I think, this was more about Juice winning the title. We all know Cody's leaving. It's like how, put on a decent match. Again, this could have been a match where people could get up, because after this match, you don't want to miss anything. You don't want to miss the final three, unless you're Phil and you fall asleep during the main event. You don't want to miss the final three. So I think that's why they slowed stuff down a little bit too. Good match. Not great. Watchable. Wasn't bored. Loved the storytelling. Loved Brandy and Cody's dynamic. Loved that Juice was getting pops. G-Rod, what you think?
I like how Juice was getting a little aggressive there at the end to end it.
He snapped. He finally snapped, and that was awesome to see.
And one of my favorite things, too, about this match is when Cody first came to wrestle for New Japan, this was his first opponent. If this is his last hurrah in New Japan, it was his last opponent. And he did, the job for him, which is how you're supposed. I guess I don't know.
You go out on your back, brother.
Yeah. So
is he really going out for surgery, or was that just a commentary thing?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Because commentary kept mentioning that when this match is over, Cody has to go out for some type of knee surgery. I don't know if that was just playing into the storyline of the match, though.
The
I think
meniscus
maybe he
tears,
has
I
to get
think.
like scoped or something. Who knows?
That's probably.
listen,
what it is.
I've had a torn meniscus for 2 years in my knee, so you can live with it. If he wants to wrestle through it, he can wrestle through it. It's a meniscus that doesn't matter. They'll laser it out pretty much.
But it was a good match, like you said. It wasn't great. It wasn't like a showstopper, but it was good, and it fit. It was where it needed to be in the card, and like you said, the next couple matches here is where it just took off, and it was a nice little precursor to what we were going to get following this.
Yeah, and a lot of AEW talk again.
Yeah.
Obviously, Cody's out there. They kept dropping AEW. I love that Don Callis was talking about it, because if you listen to Rant with Ant, or if you listen to our All Elite Wrestling announcement, I want Don Callis to really be a big part of teaming up with them, so we can get Impact, New Japan, Ring of Honor, and let's really change the world by using the world. Phil, what were your thoughts on this match? And we can get into the main events.
Well, it was a great match. It was a lot of fun. Kind of knew that, or kind of figured Juice Robinson was gonna win the belt. That's cool. I don't know. It was like I said, it was something great to have like right in the middle of the card.
Yeah, it was the perfect cooldown match. It was the perfect match to, like I said, I got up during it at one point to go get another soda, get a bag of chips, just kind of get ready, because I knew once Okada Jay White started, I wasn't moving. So because I love their promo packages. I may not be able to understand them, but I love them because they get me hyped as fuck. So let's get into that match. The next match on the card, Okada Jay White.
Yes.
Here's the thing about Switchblade. That guy has found himself. And last year at Wrestle Kingdom, I didn't think Switchblade put on the show that we thought he was going to put on. There was a lot of hype behind him. I think he was still trying to get that character. When you circle around, and was it his match with Ibushi? Was it against Ibushi?
It was
against Tanahashi.
Tanahashi What, last year?
Yep. Yeah.
No, but this year, when he turned that corner, when he started healing it up, who was that against? When you thought Don Callis, or he was going to get a fight with Stryker.
No, it wasn't Stryker. It was Barnett. It was
Barnett.
Hangman Page.
Him and
Hangman.
Page.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he gets in. That's when he turned that corner for me. Like when he started interacting with the crowd and being an asshole and being a heel and being cocky, and then he leaves Chaos and goes to Bullet Club, and it's just like, there we go. Or was it Juice? It might have been Juice.
No,
it was
might
Juice.
have been.
It was Juice.
I don't know why I thought it was Hangman.
Was it the
like
U.S.
4
title
different
match?
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but Switchblade found his character, and I'll tell you what, the character that everybody wanted to come back. It wasn't the Balloon Maker. It wasn't red hair Okada. We got the Rainmaker tonight. We got the Rainmaker in his truest form. Thighs a-glazing, money dropping from the ceiling.
That was one of the funniest things, because it's like explaining pro wrestling to somebody. It's like, would you believe that one of the loudest pops of the night was seeing Okada's thighs?
Yep. But you know what? I was excited to see that Okada, and it felt like Okada again. Now, am I shocked that Jay White won? No. Because I think the redemption story for Okada ends at the G1 when he's holding the briefcase. But I do think Jay White is going to get a mega push when it looks like Kenny Omega is gone now. He lost the title. They're probably going to write him off at Dash. That's just my thinking. You need someone. Jay White's the new leader of the Bullet Club. Here you go. Major pushing coming. He deserved it. He earned it. He literally turned my whole kind of view of him around, especially against Juice and how he's carried himself after he's joined the Bullet Club. I'm all in on it. But what a match. Okada's back. The Rainmaker pose is back. I think going forward, these two, they're not done yet. I think this is going to be a major story going forward, maybe leading into Dominion or further. G-Rod, what do you think about that?
Just to go back to Jay White first and foremost. He beat Tanahashi. He beat Okada in the G1 back-to-back. Tonight he beats Okada again in Okada's truest form. I'm going to make the prediction now. It's going to be the final of the G1. Yeah. They're going to be in the final. Okada's going to win it. And I believe Jay White will be the title holder, and that's how it ends at Wrestle Kingdom. I could be wrong. They might go Okada Tanahashi was one more time, and I wouldn't hate on that. But they have chemistry. I love Jay White. I'm happy he's found himself. But Okada, I can't even describe in words how amazing that guy is. He is just, I've never seen a wrestler like that. And like,
See, like,
Shawn
that's the
Michaels
thing.
and Bret Hart are great, and I love them, and they're the two, like, they're on Mount Rushmore for sure. But Okada is just something different, and I'm not trying to be a homer for New Japan. It's just
Well,
I,
I'll tell you right now, it's oh, and thank you for Justin for saying it was Juice too. I don't know why we thought it was 4 different people, but
yeah, we're tired.
it's fucking 7:45 a.m. Eastern time. The thing with Okada is when you saw him live in person at All In, it's like, dude, now you know why the hype's behind him. Like, I say Ibushi's the smoothest. I think Okada is the best in terms of, I don't, not the move set, but just the way he presents the move.
It's that if factor. He has the if factor.
He presents the move
Because
and
everybody does a clothesline, you know what I mean? But like for some reason when he does it, it's like, whoa, he has this unbelievably looking drop kick. His drop kick is probably the best in all of wrestling. And it's like, it's just the crispness he hits his move, the way he interacts with the New Japan crowd. It's just, he's a absolute megastar.
Exactly. And what did you think of the match overall with Jay White, Phil? I know that you're kind of.
So
we hyped up Jay White really big for you last year, and it was kind of a letdown last Wrestle Kingdom.
So here's my thing, and exactly to what I wanted to say. Jay White really stood out to me. I was thinking this might be the match where like I kind of go to sleep a little bit, I kind of rest up, but it had my full attention. I was super into it because of Okada being the Rainmaker and the crowd being really, really into it and really vocal in this match. It was really the first match I think that the crowd was vocal pretty much the whole match.
Crazy for a Japanese crowd. Like,
it is.
They were
very
making some
vocal.
noise.
They were very vocal.
Making some noise. So.
And like the shocking ending, right? Because I was like, Okada's back. He's the Rainmaker. He's going to win. Jay White, it's not his time yet. They're still building him up. But Jay White won, and it was shocking, and it was different, and it was new. As someone who always preaches new and different, this is exactly what it was. And I absolutely love this match, and I watched the entire thing. And Jay White really, like, it makes me interested to see what Jay White has next. Last year, with his Tanahashi match, I could care less about Jay White. But now, here we are. Like, I'm really looking forward to what they do with him this year.
Yep, I totally agree. G-Rod, final thoughts on the match, because I want to talk about the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And Okada is one of the greatest, if not the greatest. It's just hard to really like tell you like who the greatest is. It's all subjective, but he's up there for sure. And I can't wait to see what Jay White's future brings. Like I said, this could be the G1 final match, block A versus block B, and we'll see.
It's just good to see too, because Okada's had some great matches. Him and Naito last year was great. Every match he's had with Kenny was great, but it felt like, and it may be because they wanted you to, it felt like he lost it there for a while because of after he lost his title, he went to Man, and that's just good storytelling, I guess, because he didn't lose anything. Like he's still that charisma, that character, his in-ring ability. Like you said, I think he is now if Kenny's gone, he is the best wrestler in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
And I could tell you this, that entrance, the regular Rainmaker entrance, when I saw it in Long Beach, there's nothing like it. And even in a smaller room than the Tokyo obviously, it was quite different from the All In entrance. It's if you guys anyone's going to the Supercard show at Madison Square Garden WrestleMania weekend, he's going to be there, and it's going to be awesome. You guys are going to be in for a treat.
Let's get into the next match. And this is a match that a lot of people, a lot of our WWE friends and listeners tuned in for, because it is the greatest of all time. It is Y2J, Chris Jericho, versus, as he calls him, Naito-san. First off, like I put this on Twitter. If you say, ask him, to any wrestling fan, they know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
How do you like that, you little bitch? Like, Jericho talking makes him even more of a heel. Like, you are Chris Jericho. Japanese crowds love you. The pop he got when he got on that screen last year at Wrestle Kingdom to challenge Kenny Omega, or to challenge Kenny Omega to Wrestle Kingdom. It was one of the loudest ovations I've ever heard in New Japan. The crowd was chanting Y2. They never chant. They're chanting Y2J. Everybody loves Chris Jericho, but that means you're good at your job. This crowd wanted Naito to win so bad.
Yeah.
They despise Chris Jericho. He's taking the camera. He's flipping it off. It's the little storytelling. But here's the thing we forget. Chris Jericho is 48 years old, and he is still performing at the highest level imaginable. If anything, 2018 and 2019 so far, in terms of match-wise, has been his best year since 2008, 2009. That's when he feuded with Shawn Michaels, I think. I think
Yep.
that's when he had his best run in WWE match-wise. This is his best run. And I know, Brother Daryl said this, I know 5-star ratings don't matter to a lot of people, but if Meltzer gives us a 5, it's the second 5 of Jericho's career, and they both happen at Wrestle Kingdom. And,
him and Kenny got 5 last year?
Yep.
Okay.
He is the definition of a big match superstar. He is a prize fighter. He is worth every dime New Japan spent on him. And then I want to talk about Naito because it's his time. And I feel like I like Tanahashi. I forgot how good Tanahashi was because he was injured. But if it was up to me, Naito would be your champion going forward, especially with this transition with people leaving. I think Naito brings a little bit of a different swagger to that belt than Tanahashi. But Tanahashi is the New Japan Cena, so it's the safe bet. You know what you're going to get with him. It's the safe bet. Thanks, Scott. Have a good day at work, man. But as far as everything else goes, the match was fantastic. The no DQ stipulation really added to it. Jericho left a fucking hole in a table from Naito's head. You got everything you want. Hard hitting, reversals. The ending sequence was
incredible,
ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Only Chris Jericho could think of something like that. The mastermind. So I want to get your thoughts, G-Rod. What do you think about the GOAT versus Naito?
Oh, it was amazing. I liked it better than the Omega match, to be honest.
I did too. And I like this a lot better than their first match of Naito versus Jericho.
Yeah. And there's Naito is like we were talking. He's just another guy that has something special about him, the it factor. And yeah, it's his time. He'll get his time. I feel like they'll give him the title soon. And we'll talk about the ace later. But Jericho, man, like he just when you think you've seen it all with him, he just does other things and he just brings another level, and it's insane.
This is why I can confidently call Chris Jericho the greatest of all time. No one has consistently changed their character as much as Chris Jericho and got everything he's ever done over.
Yeah.
He's changed at the time. When Hulk Hogan's still running around saying brother and doing the same shtick, Chris Jericho flips it. Chris Jericho said, the list has reached its peak. Time to do something new. You know what I mean? And he's done that all the time.
And another thing, too, is with him being the GOAT, I love Stone Cold. I love The Rock. I even love Cena. Those guys who are held to, 3 of the best of all time. He has great mic skills and he can wrestle. And again, he changes it up when he feels like it needs to be changed up. And that's amazing. And this match had everything. Those near falls almost gave me a heart attack. I was yelling. It was awesome. 5 stars for sure.
Phil, so a face you recognized, Chris Jericho. How did you feel about the match? Were you into it?
I was super into it. The beginning took a little long for me to get like fully invested in because I'm not the biggest Naito guy. So there was a lot of cool spots. Jericho flipping off the camera. That seems to be his like Wrestle Kingdom tradition that he's trying to start. Because people show the picture from the last year match with Omega. You had this spot where Naito was just baseball swinging a kendo stick, and Jericho was just like, oh my god. And then like you said, the whole code breaker kicking out of this, Naito giving him a code breaker. That whole sequence of moves I thought was awesome, and it was a great way to kind of build Naito up. That like you said, the crowd actually wanted Jericho to lose.
This is nitpicking, but there was one spot where usually, like, Naito would hit the Tranquilo pose in the middle of the ring, but he didn't. He slid outside the ring and he kept on the attack.
Yeah.
Even though Jericho got the best of him, and I thought that was very telling of the story that Naito knew he had to step it up, and he knew he had to take it to a next level to win this title, and he couldn't be tranquilo with Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
to give it to him 100%. So I thought that was a little cool touch. I don't know if anyone else picked up on that.
How about this one too? For your nitpick, when Jericho pushed pushed Red Shoes to the ropes and low blow Naito, it's no DQ. He could have just done that. It was funny to me.
That's Colin Wall brought up a good point. That's the way their Wrestle Kingdom match, not Wrestle Kingdom, their Dominion match ended with the low blow code breaker. So it was a callback to kind of bring that story full circle. So good catch by Colin there.
Then you had that crazy, insane table spot. Like,
yeah, dude, I've never seen someone's head hit a table so hard in my life.
That, and then like he just stood there. He was like a break dancer. He just like stood there in the air for like a couple seconds and then fell over. That was crazy. That's definitely gonna be like on someone's wall somewhere. Someone got a picture of that. It'll get signed by Naito.
Yeah, that definitely. That has to happen. Man, I can't believe I woke up at 2 o'clock and I'm still going, but here we are. We made it. The main event.
Should I fall asleep in this video?
Yeah,
like
you
want to
fall asleep like you did during the main event? Tanahashi, the ace. New Japan Cena. The guy who's done it all. He's held the belt. He's carried the company versus the best wrestler in the world. The hottest free agent in wrestling right now. Kenny Omega. What a match. I mean, it started slow. And I'll give you that, Phil. It started slow, but that's the beauty of a Kenny Omega match is you never know when it's going to turn up.
See, my thing is I didn't fall asleep because it started slow. I don't want. I fell asleep just because I was exhausted. Because like I understand,
you woke up at 2:30 a.m. I mean, yeah.
You guys have trained me as long, and Brother Daryl has trained me to understand that New Japan matches are slow, but they gradually pick up as the match goes, and it's kind of a beautiful thing. And it's kind of the reason why, over these last 2 years, I've been able to fall in love with Kenny Omega, the wrestler. And this match was exactly the same. I just wish that I was able to, like, remember it the way you guys do. I'm gonna, after this, I'm probably gonna try to watch it. To be honest with you.
I mean, here's something that they did. They kept the one-winged angel protected, and I thought it was the night that someone was kicking out. I thought Tanahashi was going to kick out of it. They teased it a couple times. My God, the most vicious V-triggers I've ever seen were hit tonight. I
saw the one where, like, Tanahashi was, like, on the bottom rope, and then Kenny hit the V-trigger there. I do remember that one. Because I remember the sound of it. I think it woke me up. I was like, whoa.
His knees are unbelievable. I mean, probably one of the best strikers in wrestling right now. My favorite spot of the match is when they're both exhausted. And I always love the exhausted. You're going face to face, part of the match. And they are just slapping the piss out of each other. And it looks like Kenny catches, like, Ace and kind of, like, stuns. Like, it looked like Tanahashi was kind of knocked out on his feet for a second. And then he just wakes up and bitch slaps Kenny Omega.
I do remember that part, too.
Oh, man.
I remember it every time Tanahashi smacked Kenny. He turned, right, like wrestling, and then every time Omega smacked Tanahashi, he just stood there. It was like, boom. It was like, are you gonna move at all? Like, you're just taking a full force slap and you're not even moving.
Then you know what? Another favorite part of the match. I don't know if you saw this is Kenny Omega being Kenny Omega hits the frog splash, which is Tanahashi's finisher. What do they call it? The super
high fly flow.
So he hits that. And Tanahashi hawks up and fucking kicks out at one, and he stands up, and I'm like, oh, I got so fired up. And I'm not even a Tanahashi guy. I was like, oh, let's do this. It was awesome. I mean, that match was awesome. It was definitely the match of the night. Definitely another 5-star match. Kenny Omega's named the best bout machine for a reason. Tanahashi's named an ace for a reason. G-Rod, thoughts on the match?
There's so many words you can say. I thought it was a masterpiece for sure. It was just something about the feel of this match, going back to the Fan Fest, 2 days ago now. It was yesterday. It was or last night or something like that. Or no, 2 nights ago. They had their face-to-face, and Tanahashi seemed legitimately like, angry. Like, it wasn't like, he wasn't like mugging for the camera like he usually does. He just was different. I feel like the rivalry between him and Omega is real, and it's sad that we're only going to get just this match, which tells you something,
Oh,
And I like how
I also want to, Justin, I totally agree. It was very fitting that Tanahashi hit the Styles Clash on Omega, and that's something I'm going to bring up in just 1 second. Gerard, finish your thoughts.
and just like the call, like when the commentator said this feels like the Bret Hart Shawn Michaels rivalry, like two different styles, two different eras, you know. And I love that this match had everything: the storytelling, the near falls, the brilliance, and obviously I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time. I love the Sephiroth thing. Anytime he does something with Final Fantasy, and I love that Chris Charlton said something about Final Fantasy, and then Ant brought it up in the chat. Like it was just, and then the Undertale video thing is great.
Is this Kenny Omega's Final Fantasy? Is that why
Yeah.
he did this? Is this his Final Fantasy? Is this his last match in New Japan Pro Wrestling? You
Yep,
gotta think him getting a Styles Clash hit on him in his last match in New Japan. Fitting.
Very fitting. And when I saw that, I popped very hard for that.
Because that's the move that he kicked AJ Styles out, and didn't he hit the Styles Clash on AJ Styles and then started?
Yeah.
Or no, he started using the Styles Clash after kicking AJ Styles out. So he kicks AJ Styles out, starts using the Styles Clash, and that's what catapults him to the leader. But he had to kick Styles out first. Styles leaves the company. You got a Styles Clash hit on you. Maybe this is full. I think Kenny's gone, guys. He drops the title. I think it's over. I think obviously there's two choices here. There's AEW or there's WWE. I stand by what I say on Rant with Ant this week, and if you haven't listened, it comes out on Saturday. I don't think the Young Bucks and Cody do this if they don't have the ace in their back pocket, and their ace is Kenny Omega.
I don't know. I feel like, so after watching this show tonight, I feel like the only way Kenny Omega goes to WWE if it's a known thing that he's only going to be there for 2 years. It's like, I will give you my service
for. This is the newest offer that's coming out because it's floating all around. And again, grain of salt, not confirmed. I don't know. 4 years, $22 million is what I saw, or $23 million. I'm sorry. 4 years, $23 million, and they will help him with his channel.
With his channel,
like his esports channel, much like they do with Up Up Down Down. Kenny Omega would get that kind of push as well with that.
Okay. I mean, it'd be cool. I just think, if it takes, I don't know, 2 to 3 years to get All Elite Wrestling to where Cody and the Bucks envision it going, I think that kind of having Omega get there at that point or in the middle of that point.
If it's 2020, just have Omega work WWE from 2019 to 2020 and then fucking show up at your first show.
That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe he works Rumble. I don't know if the timing is right. And then he works Mania. You give him these dream matches. Hopefully Roman gets back in time. And that's a dream match that I want to see, Kenny versus Roman, right? And then he does everything he has to do there. You get your payday. You become this huge wrestling star. Everybody knows now you're the best in the world in every company. And then you go to All Elite Wrestling and you help them build. And that's how you kind of go into the later half of your career, helping build another company.
I'm convinced.
Now, will
I'm convinced
WWE allow that? Because I'm sure they won't.
No, they're not going to give someone a year contract with All Elite Wrestling looming. No, yeah. I think Kenny's All Elite, man. I think we're going to find out Tuesday.
So he's 35 years old. He's been wrestling matches like a madman, where I just don't understand how he's walking still. I don't know. He walks behind the curtain and he falls down. It's probably hurting all over. Going to the WWE would probably be the safe bet for him.
Yeah. Longevity.
Just longevity, money, security, and all that good stuff. But I'm selfish. I want him in AEW where he belongs.
Here's the thing. Who came up with the moniker Change the World?
Exactly. Yeah.
How are you going to change the world without the guy who said he wanted to change the world?
And in a lot of podcast interviews that I've heard Omega do when he was on Jericho's show and stuff like that, he always talks about wanting to do something different. And I think that's the reason why, Cody and the Bucks and him kind of took the wrestling world by storm, because it's like, hey, we're not disrespecting WWE. We're not saying it's a bad thing, that it's over here, but we want to do this over here. We have our own idea of what wrestling should be, and we want to do that. And I think that, to your point, Ant, maybe he does go to AEW, and it's not 100% set in stone that just because you're a pro wrestler and you're at the end of your career that you're going to go to WWE. It took Sting TNA going completely out of business, damn near, to finally come over to WWE. Like, so maybe Kenny never goes. Maybe he's that one guy in history that we're like, damn, I can't believe he never went.
Like the Bucks and Omega in interviews, they've made a point to say, maybe we're the guys that don't need to go to WWE. And I feel like that still weighs. I don't think Kenny is a money-motivated person. Now, it depends on money, because we can all say we're not money-motivated people, but if a contract offer for 4 years, $23 million is sitting in front of you, you're probably going to sign the son of a bitch, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think he's... But here's Issa's point again. Issa's point coming up. If he is part of this, and they pay him like he's part of the ownership of All Elite, much like Cody and Bucks and Brandy, he can make more money. He can almost make Triple H type money by running it and wrestling, having two separate contracts. So there might be money in it. There might be more merchandise money. I don't know the breakdown. I'm not in that side of business. But it's hard to say it's not money when we're not the ones being offered the money. But Kenny Omega does not seem like someone who is influenced by money. He seems he's very goal oriented, and he's very set in his ways in certain aspects. And I think All Elite Wrestling happens because Kenny Omega is there, and I think that's their main event.
He's your
that's
draw.
Your champion. That's your draw. I know Cody and the Bucks are draws. There's not a bigger draw in professional wrestling right now than Kenny Omega. And if
Cody and the Bucks are part of management.
But if
I know maybe Kenny. Yeah, but I know that. But I know that Kenny Omega would probably get some type of ownership credit or whatever, like you said. But I think that Kenny is your guy, right? Cody and the Bucks, they'll be there, they'll be popular, they'll be around. But I think that, the main event of like these shows will be someone that is not those three guys, and I think that it'll be Omega.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's Omega.
And also at the same time too, it's like the whole thing. Cause I go back to All In and their little speech at the end that the next move they're gonna make is all together. Yep. And I think people keep forgetting about that. Like, because
I don't. Kenny was in the ring.
And Kenny was in the ring. And yeah, people will always bring up that, like, Kenny's never really into all the being the elite shows, but that's because he lives in Japan. That's where he lives. So if he's going to do AEW or WWE, he's moving back. He's going to be moving the United States, or at least going back home. Yeah, to Winnipeg. So
I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot.
I'm just really excited to see how this all like comes about, and Dash is going to really tell us a lot of things.
Yeah, I can't wait for that, and I'm sure we'll have some coverage on that as part of Rant with Ant. That's all we're doing. We're covering wrestling. I mean, I walked out of the studio last night at 10 p.m. I took a shower. I laid my head down on the pillow. I fell asleep at 12. I woke up at 2, and I'm back in the studio at 8 a.m. doing Wrestle Kingdom coverage. I wouldn't have it any other way. Let's get our final thoughts, because different takes, because G-Rod has experienced more Wrestle Kingdoms. This is my second one in a row. This is Phil's first watching live. So let's start with the new guy. Phil, what are your thoughts on Wrestle Kingdom? Is this going to be an annual event for you? How'd you feel about it?
So I think that this is going to start to be an annual event. I think that even with the reports of Omega, Cody, and the Bucks leaving, and even like somebody like who I said my favorite Japanese wrestler is Kushida, reports of him going to NXT possibly. I think that there's enough with Jay White and Okada now being the Rainmaker again and stuff like that, where, I think that at this point of me being a wrestling fan, I think I'm like able to watch New Japan and understand it no matter who's on the card, just to be able to enjoy it. The one thing I do want to ask you guys is, someone mentioned it in the chat earlier, Scott mentioned it, is this the first year that there wasn't like an intermission or something?
Because there wasn't one last year either, was there?
Last year was the first year, yeah.
This felt like it was a straight through show. This felt like a WrestleMania.
Last year this show was just getting over now.
That's what I'm saying. I remember last year was like a 6.5 hour show, because I remember watching.
It was long.
And like this did not feel like that at all. I thought, I did fall asleep at the end, but I think that it did not feel like a super long show. Like I was into it. I enjoyed it. I like that. The promo packages weren't too long. It was like the match was over, next match, and it kind of sucked because like, oh, this is a match, I'm gonna go make a sandwich, and it was like, no, I care about this match. Fuck, I gotta like sit and watch it. But I enjoyed it a lot, and I definitely want to make this kind of like an annual tradition.
Yep, and I'm gonna be doing it next year, because it's on a Saturday next year. Yes, sir. G-Rod, from your experience, this is what, your third one watching live?
Let's see,
Because what you Wrestle Kingdom?
10, 11, 12, 13, my fifth one.
Okay.
Jeez.
It was a lot easier in LA because I'd be going to bed.
Motherfucker.
I'd be going to bed like 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's fine. And everything started at 11. So, nah, man, it's something that it's a special thing to be able to get up and watch a product that you're really into, and we're going into a new era in New Japan where a lot, like Phil said, like a lot of people are leaving, like some mainstays, especially Kenny, and that's the first I heard of the Kushida thing. That's awesome.
Yeah, people were saying that in the chat and stuff like that. That there are rumors about
Twitter. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, that's really I look forward to that for sure. He's going to put on some. I mean, him and Ricochet can just continue off what they were doing in New Japan. I'm just happy that people are starting to gravitate towards this, and it's becoming thing. And now New Japan is doing 2 nights at the Tokyo Dome, which is...
Justin said, thoughts on next year's Wrestle Kingdom being 2 nights. I think this is a perfect test run for WrestleMania also, because my biggest thing is fatigue. It's fatigue, it's fatigue, it's fatigue. If you give us a couple great matches and you have one main event, instead of having a double main event, one main event Friday night, one main event Saturday night, I think it works. I think when it's a big show like this, people yearn for more. I want more wrestling right now. I can't wait to watch Dash. So it's like, I'm yearning for more, so give me that 2 nights of big shows. Look what they do in WWE. They have NXT and they have WrestleMania. They used to have them back-to-back. 2 nights, 2 big shows, people left happy all the time. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a way to break up fatigue. I think it's a way to get more talent on the card and give people more high-profile matches. I love it.
It's a way to give these matches time, right? If you're running a show and let's say like need an hour and Eiga and Tanahashi need an hour, that's 2 hours of straight matches. I think that people would get super tired with it. You separate those, you put those on 2 nights, then you could give those matches the time and the respect that they need, and then fans can really be like, oh, I loved both matches because they got to see it 2 separate nights.
Yep.
And also, the first night of the G1 tournament, not a G1 special,
the tournament,
the G1 tournament, Dallas. That's insane.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I am so excited for that, for the people who get to go. That is just insane. And they're having a whole bunch of events throughout the year. The New Beginning show, there's going to be a show in London or England or wherever in the UK. New Japan it's big now. And all they need to do now is just fix up the New Japan world and make it more accessible for people.
Yep.
Maybe create an app for phones here in America. And, man, they're going to become a major force. I mean, they already are, but like people will start gravitating towards it more. And we're in a new era. I'm excited. Tanahashi's a champ. It's cool.
Yep, Tanahashi's the champ. The Ace is back on top. It's big news for New Japan. New Japan breaking in the United States even more in 2019. It's going to be an exciting year for professional wrestling with All Elite Wrestling, New Japan, and everything. How their partnership works, I guess we'll have to sit back and find out. Thank you for the Patreons for chatting with us during this event. You guys really made it enjoyable. If you want to be the brand, go to patreon.com/rantwithant. You can get in the chat for just $1. You can get exclusive content starting at $5. Make sure you join today. You don't want to miss the content we're bringing in 2019, as well as a special WrestleMania show that if you're a Patreon, you will be invited to. Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. I'm going to go have coffee, some eggs, take a shower, go to sleep. I have a wedding to go to. But thank you guys for joining us. Top of the morning to you, lads. Thank you for keeping wrestling real.
Kawaii, so kawaii.
It'd help if I had Facebook up. Duh.
Fucking jeez. And the world tour is still going on.
All right. Are we good?